Hello everybody and welcome back to Blue Jay Acres. Sorry it has been a hot minute since I've been on here. Well, I guess just I'll start telling you what's been going on. We've just had a lot going on. So when I stopped filming, Ash actually came home. I picked her up from the airport. I think I filmed almost until the day I picked her up from the airport. It's been about 3 weeks since I've been on. You have seen Charles a little bit, but you have not seen me yet. And that's because I picked her up from the airport. She was only home for literally from a Friday to a Friday. And then she's gone again for 3 weeks. So I want to spend every minute with her. I want to just spend every minute with her. So we were so busy. We did so many things. She worked like 3 double shifts, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So she could just spend the rest of the week just doing fun stuff with the family before she took off again for 3 weeks. She had a fun time when she was in Alaska, and she got stationed or put, in Alaska for a week. Basic training, not so fun, or officer training. It's like their basic training. Not so fun. It was pretty miserable, but she survived. She did good. She was able to text me, which was nice every night, so I knew she was alive and okay. They were in ungodly heat, and it was just awful. She said just awful. She didn't even know she could sweat so much. And the food was awful. She said everything was awful. It was awful, but she's done. She did it. Woohoo! She's made it through officer training. And then she got to go shadow. They send them each somewhere to shadow the job that they are picking, that their top pick. And so she got to shadow with the military, like FBI and the military, which is what she is headed for, wanting to go for. And she got to follow also the police, because most likely she'll start as the police, and then she's gonna try though to go straight to like the detective, but you gotta work your way to get there. A lot of people, they said, is like, I don't know, 10% of people get accepted straight away to go to Quantico, so it's crazy low chance of getting to go. But she said that was so cool. She came back super fired up, ready to go, and she's like, okay, so the next 2 years in college, I know in order to be considered, I have to up my game, and I have to do all this different stuff. She came back because they gave her lots of pointers on how to try to get selected. So super excited about that. She had a wonderful time. And then she's gone again. She's gone again. So while she was there though, they did tell her that people had COVID. And then many people we know have COVID. And then on top of that, we were in very crowded places. We went to Kings Island, which is an amusement park out here, like a lot. The water parks, we went to the movies. We went to so many things while she was here, while she was home. And so the following week, we ended up with COVID. Not a big shocker there. So it's really just mostly me and Charles. Luke and Theo a touch. But it was mostly me and Charles. So I was down for probably about 4 days, pretty hard. And now I'm good. I just have, the out of breath. That just takes time. It's like our 5th time getting COVID. So we know the drill, and it's just going to happen. It's just everywhere right now. All the kids are about to go back to college and back to high school. So we're going to so get it again. It's just the way it goes. And so then, on top of that, the kids all left. All the girls went to their annual Florida trip with my ex-husband's family. So they're all gone. So we had to get everything ready for them to all go. So that ends up, it's just me, Charles, and Luke here for the week. And so I'm gonna film for you guys, but it's not gonna be such big fancy food. We'll still bake and do everything because we still gotta eat. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. And on top of that, we also had to go, Charles actually took a week off. Luckily he did, because I was sick and he was sick. And then we also had to go borrow a trailer. We had 2 of our pigs go off to be processed, and we'll be picking them up later. On top of that, I've been getting all the freezers ready for the pigs to return.
Photobomb.
Next weekend we have we're processing 50. We did have 51 meat birds. 1 did die. I think it was mostly due to heat stress, because we had some just really massively hot days. And so we have 50 that we're doing next weekend. So I've had to get everything ready for that. We've got a lot going in our freezers. On top of that, I've been also trying to can every day as much as I can. With no pun intended, because
it's a can-do attitude.
Because I'm trying to get, you know, my basement prepped, everything prepped for whatever's to come our way this winter. So along with that, I also put in a big Azure haul, or Azure order, and I'll probably share that with you guys possibly next, when I get it at the end of the month. Try and get stocked up on my baking needs for the fall and winter. And so then I don't really have to worry about any kind of grocery shopping or anything like that throughout the fall and winter. That's the plan anyway. So, all right, that brings you up to date. Today, oh, doctor visit. I went to the doctor, you guys that are following along with that, and down 10 pounds. So the new medicine is working wonderfully. Super stoked about that. And then I also, they have it now in stock. So the insurance company completely covered. It's free of charge to me. And I am now, it is Zepbound is the one that I am doing at the moment. Zepbound and Mounjaro are the same thing. They're interchangeable. And so I'm not on the compounded anymore. I'm on the actual like name brand. So I'll let you know if I see any difference in that. But so far, the last few months being on trizepatide, game changer. I have so much energy. I feel so much better. I'm never sick, rarely sick. I mean, if I eat something that doesn't agree with me, I still don't feel great, but I did that without any kind of medicine anyway. So yeah, okay, now I think you're up to everything, up to speed on everything. I just picked a bunch of stuff from the garden this morning. So we've got green beans, we got lima beans, we got some carrots, we got some peppers, 4 of the tiniest little cherry tomatoes. We are still waiting for tomatoes to come in. And again, it's been a bad garden year for us this year. Some jalapenos are in here, some okras in here. So we're gonna figure out what we're gonna make with all that. I also grabbed some thyme, and I grabbed some, at this point it would be, what is cilantro when it goes to seed? Coriander. And so at this point it's coriander, so I'm trying to dry that. We also got our very first pear. Look at that. It is so beautiful. That is our first pear from our pear trees. Our pear trees are about 4 years old now. Well, I guess we got them about 4 years ago, so they're about 5 years old because they were a year or two old when we got them. And or did we plant those 3 years ago?
I think it's going on 3 years, but since you only got one, wouldn't it only be half a pear?
So I'm excited about this.
Just a question.
We just don't listen to that. So let's get to doing some cooking though, because I know you guys have missed cooking. And then we'll kind of take a peek at what he's up to today. He's trying to get everything situated, animals moved. What else you got going on besides you want me to cook for you? Good food.
You know, I could give you the list.
He doesn't know he's not in the camera.
No, I know I'm not in the camera.
There he is.
My list of things I got to do today is just what I can get done.
So much, because we also on the 14th we're picking up 50 more meat birds, so we've got to get that all situated. Get the brooder ready to get the 25 roosters that we have in there, and the 5 turkeys. Got to get out of the brooder. He's got to get that situated. We got to get the brooder clean to get the 50 new meat birds in on Wednesday.
Homesteading is like dominoes. Got to position once, when it falls, it hits the next, and that's exactly kind of the way we have to do things. Is one thing's got to happen in order to make the next one hit.
But
yeah,
one change it for the world. It's a wonderful, wonderful life to live. We just got to figure out the gardening side. We've had really good gardens. We're just really not nailing it.
Yeah, I don't think we're alone in that boat this year.
We are not nailing it. But we are getting some, so we're enjoying some. I did get a set of green beans already that I got processed and put downstairs. Oh gosh, I've canned so many things. I don't even know. So many peaches, peach jam, strawberry jam. I've got a bunch of blackberries we're gonna can up today to make some blackberry jam. It's the year of the jam. I'm making all kinds of jams.
I could quote Bob the Builder. Can we preserve it? Yes, we can.
Now that song's gonna be in my head forever. Way to go, Joe. All right, let me get this started. You're delirious.
You don't even know my name.
I am crazy.
I'm not Joe.
You're Handy Mandy. You hate it when I call you that, but that's who you are. All right, you guys, enough being goofy. Let's get started. I wanted to get some bread going. I did get Vital Wheat gluten. I told you guys about that when I picked up my last Azure order, and I was gonna give it a go. Game changer. It makes that bread so soft. So the recipe I'm gonna share with you guys today, we're gonna make bread with using the Vital Wheat gluten. However, if you do not have an autistic child that is crazy picky like mine, and you're not trying to make some Wonder Bread at home, you don't got to use Vital Wheat gluten because the bread is fabulous without it. It is. It's just fabulous bread.
It just makes the difference between a really good dinner roll bread and a sandwich bread. There's just a softness difference between the two. Like I would say doughy, like more of a doughy bread. I would say your stuff with the Vital Wheat gluten is really good peanut butter kind of bread.
Right, which is what we're after.
Right, that's soft, smooth. Mm-hmm. Right.
So far all we've made is buns. I made buns the other day. What were we eating? And I made buns. And they were just pulled like pork. If you'd buy some...
Was it pulled pork?
I think it was. I think it was pulled pork. Oh, so good. We've been eating a lot of pork because we're trying to clear out our old pork to put in the new pork because we got a lot of new pork coming. Yeah, we've been very busy. I've been canning pork. We've been busy.
And special thank you to my mother if she sees this.
Oh yes, I forgot.
Thank you.
Didn't even mention that.
So much for the refrigerator freezer combo. It's perfect size. It fits right in where our old chest freezer was. So it slipped right in, and that is going to be super helpful for when we go and do our chickens next weekend. So, Mom, if you watch this, thank you, and happy 90th.
Yes, happy 90th birthday. So he went to his mother's, which that was just a couple days ago.
It was yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. And she has an old fridge that she just had in her garage that she wanted to get rid of. And we said, perfect, because we needed a second fridge to store all the chicken, because after you butcher, you have to put the chicken in the fridge for a day or two before you move it to the freezer. And that's a lot of chicken. And my fridge has regular food in it as well. So
it's going to help us make more ice.
Huge help. And yeah, and it's also her 90th birthday in a couple days, so.
Yeah, it gives us a place to make more ice so that we don't have to go buy bags of ice for $6 a bag. That's crazy, $6 for a bag of ice.
And we go through a lot.
Frozen water.
And we go through a lot of ice on Butcher Day.
Crazy.
What did I go through last time? Like
we go through 3 bags. 3 bags a day.
3 days, didn't we? Or did we do it 2?
2 days.
So we went through 6 big bags.
So the first day you couldn't get all big bags, I think.
So I had to get some small.
You got 2 small and 1 big, and then you went back and got 2 more bags big.
At a different one.
So we went through technically the 5 bags the first day, and then 3 bags the second day.
I had to go to a different gas station. Out here it's fishing season. We're surrounded by lakes and everybody's fishing. So live bait sold everywhere, and ice is flying off the shelves. That's pretty much how fishing season goes. So. Yeah.
So, if you went for the big bags and they only had the small ones at the bait and tackle store, is that a bait and switch?
It wasn't at the bait and tackle store though. I was just at the UDF because that's all we have out here is UDF.
I should probably take my dad jokes and go out and move the chickens, huh?
Yes, I love your dad jokes. Yeah. I love your dad jokes. Everybody does. All right, you go.
All right, I'm going.
I need to get it cooking. I'm gonna start by making some bread. We'll have sandwiches for lunch. Sound good?
Works for me.
All right, so we're gonna start by making some bread. Let's get started. I forgot though to show you guys real quick. These are all the pumpkins so far that we have gotten. I just brought 4 in this morning. The pumpkins are coming and doing so good. So we did get lots of pumpkins this year. Okay, so because it's just me and Charles, I'm gonna start with just 1 cup of milk. Usually I make a way bigger one and make a couple loaves or a loaf with some other stuff in it. So if you want to use this recipe for bread, sorry, let me raise you up just a hair. If you want to use it, you can make anything with this recipe. This is your very basic bread recipe. You guys, you can make cinnamon rolls. This is my go-to recipe for everything. Cinnamon rolls, buns, rolls, cinnamon raisin bread. I Oh my gosh, there's so much. Actually, why don't I'll just make the original batch. I'll double it and we'll make a couple different things today, and I'll show you a couple different things you can make. Okay, so I'm gonna start with 2 cups of warm milk. You want it warm to the touch, like if you were just having a little bit of cup of warm milk to drink. You don't want a lot. Or, sorry, you don't want it very hot. Sorry, my brain was not working there for a minute. Let's see here. We're gonna go with, and measuring stuff out for you guys. I don't normally measure anything. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of sugar in here. I'm just using pure cane sugar. Any sugar you have will work. You just want this warm to touch. So if you put your finger in, it'd be like a nice warm bath. It wouldn't be really hot. It wouldn't be like, ooh, and it wouldn't be cold. It wouldn't be lukewarm. It'd just be like a nice warm bath. Okay, that's the temperature you want of the milk. Then to that, I'm gonna add 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. This is just plain old yeast. I'm gonna lift it, give it a quick little stir. And we're gonna let that just kind of activate and get nice and bubbly. This is the yeast that I normally use. Keep it in the freezer. This is one of my huge blocks. This lasts quite a while. It's how you save a lot of money by buying things in bulk, especially things like this. And from here out though, I'll be getting it from Azure. But I've had this in my freezer probably for about 6 months because I got like 3 of them, probably, I don't know, a long time ago. And it takes a long time to go to go through them. So maybe it's been longer than 6 months. Oh, it already smells so good. The smell of yeast is so delicious. But also, if you want to make this cheaper, I'm going to tell you my mouth is just not working today. I'm going to tell you some tips on how to make it a little bit cheaper. One is use water instead of milk. Warm water. That's it, warm water. Or you want the milk, just really, a milk bread makes a very soft dough. If you want, you can do half milk, half water. I have done it all the ways. Play with it however you want. 1/3 milk, 2/3 water, however you want to do it. I have found all of them are wonderful. They all work wonderful. So if you're going to make something though more like cinnamon rolls, that you really want just a fluffy, soft dough, I would go definitely for at least a half-half. Half water, half milk. You can still make it without it, and it would still be delicious, but it's just not going to be as soft as it will be. But if you can do it, then I would do all milk, especially for something like that. All right, next, the other substitutions you can make is I'm going to be using melted butter, but because I'm trying to make this like a butternut bread or sunbeam, let's see. This is the one my son will eat. This is what I'm trying to recreate at home. This is the only brand because he's autistic, and that's just how they are. It's the only brand he eats. So I'm trying to recreate and make that myself. It's a very doughy, soft bread. So I am using butter. You do not have to use butter. You need a fat. So you can use oil. I'm probably going to use a little oil as well. In fact, I know I'm going to. Because, again, I'm trying to get it super soft and doughy. You can use just oil. You can use butter. If all you have is vegetable oil, which is cheap, you can use vegetable oil. Honestly, if you're making just a bread to use, you don't even have to use fat. You need flour, water, salt, and yeast. That's all you have to make a loaf of bread. It just tastes better if you have some fat in there, and it makes it softer as well. So I'm going to do a little butter, and I'm going to do a little bit of oil. I use avocado oil here. That's totally up to you. Any of it will work. Any oil you have, any butter you have, that all works. Then I put sugar in. You can use honey. You need something to feed the yeast. It has to be sweet. It could be maple syrup, it could be molasses, it could be honey, it could be sugar. You have to feed it so that it will grow and do its thing, do its magic, and make the bread all rise and be magical. I am going to be using Vital Wheat gluten. That's this. I get it from Azure. You can get it anywhere. Amazon. or you can just buy bread flour. Bread flour just already has the Vital Wheat gluten in it. I will say though, doing my own Vital Wheat gluten gave me way better results than when I buy bread flour, if that makes sense. Maybe because I'm putting in more, I'm not sure, but it definitely was still softer than just doing bread flour. That is completely optional. I have never used this before. It's something I just started playing with, trying to recreate this exact kind of bread. So that's totally up to you if you want to use it or not. You don't have to. Let's see, that's it. And then I'm doing salt. So that's sure very basic. I am adding egg as well. I'm gonna add 1 egg and 1 egg yolk because I have eggs coming in our ears. We have so many eggs right now and we have so many new layers. So I have small eggs, so many small eggs, and we can't sell small eggs. So I need ways to use them up. So I'm doing that just for that simple fact. Otherwise I would just add 1 egg and that's it. You could add no eggs and that's fine too. It's all fine. You really, once you get the hang of making bread, you really can't mess it up that much. You could use, I'm using white flour, a all-purpose flour. I get mine from Azure, which is just actually all wheat, but you can use any kind that you want. I also have rye flour, I have spelt flour, I have all kind of flour, grind your own flour, you know, from wheat berries, however you want to do it. But this white all-purpose flour, and I find the one from Azure really, it does taste superior to the store-bought. But the store-bought does work and I've used it for many years. That is going to get me closer to this type of bread. And hopefully I don't have to buy any more loaves of it. That's the plan, to just have it where my son will eat the bread that I make. All right, this is starting to get bubbly, so let's get back to this. I think I've given you all the tips and pointers that I can. So let's finish up this bread. So now you can see this is starting to get bubbly. So now I'm going to start adding all the stuff I just told you we were going to add. Okay, so I'm going to add just a little bit of avocado oil. It's probably about 1.5 tablespoons, a couple tablespoons of butter. Let me get something to scrape that out of there. You guys go to our website. I'll have that link down below. I do have the bread recipe put out for you guys. The only thing that'll be missing is the Vital Wheat gluten because that's something new that we're doing. So I'm going to do probably 5, maybe 6 cups of flour. And the Vital Wheat gluten, you're going to add 1 tablespoon per cup of flour. So I'm going to start with 5 there. Also going to do a couple teaspoons of salt. Salt is going to give it a lot of flavor, so don't skimp on salt in your bread. It gives a lot of flavor to it. Okay. Then I'm going to add my egg and my egg yolk. You do not need a stand mixer. You can completely make this by hand. I'm going to turn this on low and get this mixing up. It's going to be about 5 cups of flour. I will tell you, even the look and feel of the flour from Azure is like so different. It's such an amazing grocery store. Well, it's not a grocery store, but a way to get food. Very good food, very good quality. Not sponsored by them in any form or fashion, not trying to get you to go to them or anything, just sharing my honest opinion. Okay, so we're just gonna let this knead. That's probably a perfect amount of flour. You're gonna go with 5 to 6 cups of flour. You want it to pull away from the sides of your mixer. If you're doing by hand, you want it to not be so sticky that you're able to really get in there and knead it. Actually, I think I'm going to need just a hair bit more. Ooh. Everybody makes mistakes. That just made a big mess. Let this knead for about 5 minutes on a low speed. That should be fine. I should not need any more see you guys in about 5 minutes when we're ready for the next step. All right, that's been long enough. Now you see it started to stick a little bit, if you guys can see that at the bottom of the bowl. That's not a big deal. If you want to add more flour, you can, but I'm trying to keep it super soft, so I'm not going to add more flour to that. I'm just going to take out the hook, scrape it off the sides and the bottom. And then we're going to cover and let this rise until it's doubled. You can see that I can still pick it just fine, and it's barely sticking to me at all. So it is fine that it's stuck a little bit at the bottom. It will still not be like super doughy or anything. It'll be perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is just cover and let this rise until it's doubled. Maybe an hour, hour and a half. It will always depend on your house. The temperature in your house, the humidity in your house, where you're keeping it, if it's free of drafts or not. It's going to take a little longer for me today because it is a gorgeous day here in the 70s and I've got every window open and I'm enjoying every minute of it. So what I could do to hurry this along a little if I wanted is you can put it in your oven and just turn your oven light on. My oven light's burnt out right now, so I can't do that, but you can do that. You can put it on a heating pad and just put the heating pad on low and that'll warm it just a hair. You can just put it in your oven, period, and that will help also just keep it free from drafts. You can also turn your oven on to the lowest temperature just to let it get to that temperature, turn it off, give it a minute, and then put your bread dough in there and it's just a nice, warm, cozy environment. So there are ways to hurry it along if you're in a rush. Otherwise, just enjoy the process. It's just making some homemade bread, you know. It doesn't have to be rushed. It is, for me, it's 11 o'clock. We'll eat when we eat. I'm not worried about it. So we're gonna make some egg salad to go with this bread for lunch today. So I already put some eggs in because, like I said, I've got lots of small eggs. So cooking them and using egg salad and stuff like that, that's a good way to use them up instead of just you know, using the big ones. I'm saving those for cooking for like recipes that you need a big egg for. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. And now I need to make some mayonnaise though to go with it because I get the eggs already boiling. So let's whip up some mayonnaise real quick. So I find old pickle jars make perfect, once you get all the pickle smell and everything out of it, perfect mayonnaise jars. So that's what we're gonna use. So I'm gonna show you, see, here is like some small eggs versus regular size eggs, if you can see the difference there. I have so many of these little small eggs, and then I have little mini birds that are laying even smaller eggs. So yeah, I got lots of small eggs to use. It's my favorite mayonnaise recipe. Mayonnaise is really easy, can't really mess it up hardly at all either. But my favorite mayonnaise recipe has been 1 egg. And then I like to do 1 or 2 egg yolks. These egg yolks are all small, so I'm going to do 2. If I was using regular full-size eggs, I would just do 1 egg, whole egg, and 1 egg yolk. All of those egg whites, I'm going to feed back to my chickens, and they'll be delighted. Oh, they also get all the egg shells, so they're very happy chickens. So here I'm going to do 1 cup of, I'm using avocado oil. You need a neutral oil. You could use canola. You could use a light olive oil. I don't really care for it with olive oil. That's just my personal opinion. I'm going to dump my eggs on in there. Normally you would put mustard in, but today I'm going to add a little miso instead of mustard because I have this miso. We've had it for a while and I need to use it up. And I don't have any mustard made. So I'm going to do just a drop of miso. Just a little bit of lemon juice. I'm going to add just a little bit of rice vinegar. If you wanted to make this a Japanese style mayonnaise, a kapui or something like that is what they call it, you just add some dashi broth to that and a little bit of sugar and everything else the same. I'm going to add about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Now if this would be too salty for you, just do like 1/4 teaspoon of salt. It's all per taste. We're going to do this with some egg salad and I like to put it on fish. So I'm doing mine a little bit more salty. Now an immersion blender, and that's it. I'm gonna try and catch all my egg yolks best I can down in here. They're wanting to go everywhere. All right, that's probably the best I'm gonna get. Leave it down at the bottom and start it up until you can see some mayonnaise starting to form. As soon as you see mayonnaise starting to form, you guys can see that down here. Just start lifting up and down. Slow motion. Just like that, you got beautiful, thick, spreadable mayonnaise. Just that fast. So easy. Give it a little taste. I think it tastes perfect. That's gonna be so good. Because of the miso, I could have went a little lighter on the salt, so it's a little bit salty. But putting it on fish, it's gonna be divine. Mixing it in with the egg salad will be good. So just know if you use the miso, go a little bit lighter on the salt. Maybe do 1/4 or 1/2 teaspoon, depending on how you like it. It's so good. Homemade mayonnaise is so much better than anything from the store. It just doesn't even compare. I say that about everything, but it's true. Homemade is just, it just doesn't compare. Alright, I'm just gonna go on and put this in my fridge and store it. Now to make this easily into a tartar sauce, add some dill pickle or a little bit of dill. And yeah, that's really, I think, all you even got to do to make it into more of a tartar sauce. Delicious. All right, I'll see you guys in just a little bit. So I thought I'd show you guys a peek at the new fridge here in the garage, so you can see it is going to be so good. Oh, I don't even know which side's it open. It does open on this side. So here's the freezer. So it's definitely smaller than like our inside fridge, but it's gonna be, I think, perfect for overflow and for butchering, everything that we need a fridge for. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I just a 1 jar of Pam, and it's just easy. So I'm gonna spray this down, use butter if you don't wanna use Pam. I won't be using it after I'm done with this bottle, but I have it, so I'm gonna use it. Punch your dough down. Now I'm gonna start with a loaf, so I'm gonna divide mine in half, and then with the other half, I'm just gonna make small amounts of all kind of different things so you can kind of see what to make, what you can do. And then I'm just kind of tucking this and stretching it. You could roll it into a rectangle and really, you know, roll it up to make it super perfect. I'm just kind of patting it down in here so I can let this rise now until it doubles. So I'm going to just cover that. I should just slide it on. A little bigger. Alright, I'm going to just cover that, let that rise. Now we're going to move on to the fun stuff, all the different things you can make, okay? Alright, as I do this, I'm going to just give you lots of different ideas. This is where you just let your imagination run wild. You can do so much stuff with this. Little magic dough. Make many, many things, whatever you want. But we're just going to make a few little things real quick, and so I can just show you. Okay, so one of the first things, I'm just going to pinch off a little bit. Oh, this is so soft. So soft. Okay. You can also add stuff, play with your dough, do stuff to it. So when you're making it, if you know you want to make, say we're going to make some breadsticks here. You know you want to make breadsticks, then make breadsticks and put Italian seasoning in your dough, or, you know, whatever you want to do. So we'll start with making just like a little breadstick. If you want to make like out of a big loaf, you want to roll it up say you want to do this like with a big pretty loaf and make it fancy. You could just take it and just do a quick little braid. Voila. Pinch the ends, you have a little braided loaf. Of course, do it on a much bigger scale, or just leave it like that. That's a cute little bun of some kind. You can fill it with raisins and cinnamon. So many things. You make it just a plain old dinner roll, which I just kind of do that to smooth it out. I know a lot of people roll it on the ground and pull it and shape it and do all that. I don't, you know, roll it on their table or whatever. I don't do all that. That's a little roll. You can make a bun. So make your same thing, just a little bigger. But this time you're making a bun, so give it a little smash. So now you got a bun. Next, you're gonna make a hot dog bun. I always make these so big. It's kind of like a breadstick, just make it a little bit bigger, a little flatter. You want to make pizza dough, make it into a pizza. And make mini pizzas, make mini pizzas. Okay, so there's just an example of many ways to just do your basic. I've got breadsticks because we're having pasta. I got a fancy little roll or a big old loaf made with beautiful cinnamon raisin in it. I've got little tiny dinner rolls ready to go. I've got a hamburger bun. I've got a hot dog bun. Now, the fun stuff, because Charles will want more of that. Just let your imagination run wild. You want to take one of these buns or a piece like this, poke a hole in it, surround it with a meatball, some cheese inside. You want to take a loaf of bread, we're going to roll this out, and this can be turned into so many things. So let's roll it out. The whole thing is you want to just play with it and have fun with it. Have fun with your food. Have fun with the different rolls that you can make. Say I wanted to make orange rolls or pumpkin rolls. Add some pumpkin spice to the dough. Add some orange zest to the dough or lemon zest because you want to make like an apple or a lemon blueberry. Add some apple pie spice because you want to make it apple filled. Add some cinnamon because you're making cinnamon raisin bread. There's so many things that you can do with just this one bit of bread. You guys, so easy for this one recipe. Now I'm just making a very small batch of this again because I'm showing you multiple things. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some sugar here. If you have brown sugar, just do brown sugar. I'm going to add some sugar in this bowl. I'm going to add a tiny bit of molasses. Making your own brown sugar, I think, is top notch. The taste, again, just doesn't compare to the store-bought, but I know not everybody wants to make everything yourself, and store-bought definitely works too. Now, if I was making cinnamon raisin bread, because you guys have asked for the recipe, here it is. This is what I do, is I do brown sugar, cinnamon, and raisin. And if you don't want the sugar, you don't even have to. You could just do cinnamon and raisin. But we're going to cover it with some butter first. So here I've got some softened butter. It's a little bit melted though too. I'm going to cover this with some softened butter. Delicious. Wonderful. Again, I would do that if I was doing orange or whatever. If I was making an orange filling or a lemon, then I would have lemon zest that I'm mixing in instead of molasses with the sugar mixture to make it delicious. You know, like a lemon or orange sugar. You could make your apple filling or your blueberry filling or whatever you want. You could have raisins, you could add nuts. We're just doing a very basic cinnamon roll type thing right now. I'm going to top it with some cinnamon. I get cinnamon in great big bulk bags, so that's why you always see me use the spoon for my cinnamon. All right, and then the only thing you're gonna do is you're gonna turn it so long way to roll, and you're just gonna roll. Again, these are gonna be smaller because I don't have like a lot of dough that I'm working with here. A lot of the bread dough. That's it. People say use dental floss and all that. That's up to you. I don't do all that. I just use a plain knife. Cut it, and you can fluff it a little bit. Then when you pull it out, voila, you have beautiful cinnamon rolls. I'm just gonna put them right here on this side of the pan. Kind of nuzzle them together. Move this over a little bit. Cut apart. Alright, then next, just cover and let everything rise till it's doubled. This is when I like to preheat my oven. I'm going to bake it at 350 degrees. I got everything sitting here rising. It takes about a half hour. 20 minutes, somewhere in there.
See through those.
I know, that's what I want. Okay, so I've got the mandolin out, and I'm just taking a potato, and I'm going to make some potato chips. So I am cutting this super small, or super thin, like see-through thin, and I'm going to fry them in some oil. And just make, look at these. Oh, they're going to be so good. If I had some lard right now, I would just fry them up in lard. I don't have lard right now. I will very soon. So we're just going to use some avocado oil. And we're going to take a look over here. I would say this is probably ready. Oh yeah, it's ready. That is looking beautiful. So I've got some butter here from before when we melted it. So now depending what I'm making depends on what I'm going to top it with. So if I'm doing a dinner roll, I'm going to top it with some melted butter, a breadstick, melted butter, and throw some garlic powder and garlic salt on there if you want. Cinnamon rolls, I'm going to top them with some melted butter. Okay, and then if I'm doing something like a bun, I'm going to use an egg and just beat an egg. And I'm going to top that with an egg wash. It's going to give a really nice brown top. You could also add a little water to your egg if you wanted to. This could be whatever you want it to be. I'm going to do an egg over here as well on top of the loaf of bread. And then we like on top of buns sesame seeds. That's just how we are. So a few sesame seeds on top of the two, that would be like a bun. That's it. I'm going to pop all this into the oven, and then we're going to heat up some oil to make our french fries. I mean our potato chips. If you use a small pot, you need less oil than using a pan, but I want to show you guys and I want you to be able to see it, so I'm going to do the pan. And then you can see everything's starting to turn brown already. You can soak this in some ice water if you want, but I'm just going to kind of try to separate them best I can. They're so thin. You guys can see that. I mean, like literally like see-through. Let me back you guys up some. And then when these get pulled out, you're just gonna top them with some salt and you have some wonderful chips. Some he cut for me. I had him start messing with my mandolin. I got it a while ago, but I've been scared of it because I cut my finger on it once before, like long ago. So I've been nervous and scared to use it. These I'll just make up some kind of fried potatoes with those bigger chunks. They're too big for a potato chip, but I've got lots of potato chips here. Plenty. So let's let that get good and hot, and then we'll start frying up some. You're not ready. Adding some more of these chips. You can make salt and vinegar, you can make barbecue, it's just about whatever you put in them, whatever you want to toss them with when they're done. I'm just kind of feeling basic potato chips. Get them out when they start to turn a little bit brown. I don't want them to burn. Just got to keep an eye on them so that they don't burn. Okay, we'll add more. And once they're in the bowl here, just add a little bit of salt to them. Give them a little toss. You guys can see delicious potato chips. They're so good. All right, I'm just going to continue doing this until they're all done. Okay, Alexa, stop. All right, here is this. I let it get a hair bit overcooked because I was focused on making the potato chips. So here is all of this is done. So I'll make some icing to go on these cinnamon rolls real quick. We've got these little buns. You see I got them a hair bit overdone. Again, because I'm making so many things right now. But yeah, we'll go on and get this ready. Okay, so if you're not making a million different things at once, like I am, and you're just making cinnamon rolls, or you're just making, you know, some delicious rolls to go with dinner, you're not gonna have the issue of it getting done on the bottom, and you'll be able to watch it and pay attention. Everything cooks at different times. So it's all good. The bread's not even done yet. Again, this is more just to show you guys what you can do. Watch your oven. Just get them out a little sooner. They're still going to be wonderful. They're just a little bit more done. They're not burnt by any means. They're just, you know, I like them soft and doughy. And they're a little harder. But still are good. Oh, let me show you. I'm letting it cool off before I put Charles's egg salad in it. But see, the dough on the inside, the bread, it's just, it's beautiful. It's perfect. All right, for a crazy simple icing to just go on top of this real quick, I have just some butter. I got kind of melty, kind of soft. Add a couple squigs of salt. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla to this as well. Then I'm going to add some powdered sugar to that. And how your sugar came out. Get this all good and mixed in. Just a very basic buttercream frosting. A little more powdered sugar. Looking perfect. You could add some cinnamon to this if you wanted. You could add a little milk, thin it out if you want. Give it just a little taste. And that is perfect. All right, and then here is our other loaf of bread. Again, trust me, this really is the best bread recipe. You can see how nice, other than at the bottom, how nice and doughy everything. It's just so good. All right, so I'm gonna call Charles in to be your taste tester. Here's his chips, cinnamon roll, and his bun with some egg salad. All right, and here is a look at this bread, you guys. It's so doughy and good. I need to cut it a little thinner. It's almost to where I want it, where it will bend. I think if it's thinner, it actually would bend a little better. I'm just gonna do an open sandwich here and put some egg salad on it, and that'll be my lunch. I've already munched on the chips. They're wonderful. I actually like them a little bit thicker, better than the really thin. But that's about all I can take of chips right now. So there's my little lunch, and the bread is wonderful. Now I'll let Charles taste test for you guys. Okay, and I also gave Charles a open piece with the egg salad so he can try that bread for you guys too, so it's not got any crunchiness on the bottom or anything like that, so you guys can get an honest opinion on all of it. All right, find a spot to put your plate.
I was trying to lean.
You're knocking over the bread container.
We'll try the potato chips because they're close.
All right, so there's the thin ones and then the little thicker.
I like them a little bit thicker.
I did too. I mean, I like them both.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're better than a store-bought chip.
They got a really good crunch to them.
Mm-hmm. I think they're delicious. I'll have to try making a barbecue one next. All right, you can try the bread first.
That's just like sandwich bread.
I think if I cut it a little bit thinner, it's just got to cool off a little bit more. I think I could fold it and maybe even get Luke to eat it. We'll see. We'll see. I might still have to tweak just a hair. I don't know. We'll see.
That was really good egg salad.
Thank you. All right.
Eat your heart out.
Try your bun. And then your cinnamon roll. Again, I already told him when he came in. Oh, what a mess. I told him when he came in that the buns got a little bit crunchy on the bottom. But they're still good. I tried a cinnamon roll. They're good. Up, you got some on your face up here. He got it he's out working so hard, moving everybody around, and he has to do it by himself because with no kids here, I can't leave Luke up at the house by himself.
Okay, I gotta take just a little bit of this egg salad off my icing.
Oh no.
I'm not wasting it. I just didn't want to contaminate the bite.
They're still good even with crunchy on the bottom. They're just not my normal super soft on the bottom. But again, it's because everything cooks at different temperatures and I just threw it all together.
No, those are really good.
All right, go eat your lunch.
I'm going to go enjoy it very much.
Good. All right, you guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for stopping by, for visiting with me. I feel like I just hadn't seen you guys in forever. And, you know, just having some chats and some visits and cooking some lunch. And hopefully you guys try this bread out. And I will try to be back tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try it. It's easier for me actually to film more frequently than less frequently because I get in the habit of doing it. So I'll try and get back in the habit of doing it. And maybe we'll cook some dinner or something like that together tomorrow. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody have a great day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you soon.
Lunch.
Bye, everybody.